Today is Shivaji Jayanti, a festival which celebrates the birth anniversary of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the first king of the Maratha Empire. In the 17th century, the Mughal emperor Aurangzeb appointed a Rajput general named Jai Singh to lead an attack on Shivaji. Shivaji writes Jai Singh a letter in Persian verses, which is still preserved today. This letter was translated into Sanskrit verses by Pandit Ramacharya Galagali, which is what I'll be sharing with you all today. Through this letter, we'll get an idea of the geopolitical landscape of the era. And we'll see that Shivaji was not just a warrior, but also a statesman who fought with both the sword and the pen. The letter begins, addressed to Jai Singh. Rajadhiraj Varamandalika Pranetah Ramyasthiti Prasava Bharata Pushpavatyah Shri Ramachandra Mahitamshta Tava Prabhavat Nunam Samunnata Shira Rajputa Jatihi. Rajadhiraja, O King of Kings, caretaker of the flower garden of Bharat. It is because of you that the Rajputs still hold their heads up high. Nunam Samunnata Shira Rajputa Jatihi. Your clan still retains its respect in this day and age. And he goes on to say, I've heard that Aurangzeb has appointed you to lead an attack on me. But I would urge you to think about it for a moment. He says, Hastam nijam cha kavachasya puro vibhagam sampashyasiha yadi tarhi tavaiva bhayat tadraktima kushala yasya janasya raktat jatasya bandhava guno hyathava parasyat. Hastam nijam. Take a good look at your own hands and think about whose blood it is that gives your skin its red flush. And think about for whom you are fighting. If you had come as an independent king to conquer the Deccan, I would have gladly joined hands with you. But because you came as a vassal of Aurangzeb, I cannot in good conscience submit. If the emperor had been Darashiko, that would have been okay. Darashiko nrpasunurudara cheta deshasya raja padavim abhajishyadasya tarhi praja sahaja sarva sukhanya lapsyat durdaivi hindu janata suchirayanunam. Under Darashiko, the unfortunate Hindus would have been treated equally and would have been happy like the other subjects. But that's not the case with Aurangzeb, and we both know that. You're bringing the Rajput army to fight me, and I don't want to fight my own countrymen. He says, Tikshno kripana parashu yadi chopa yunjyam bhuyan bhaved ubhaya pakshaga hindu nashaha sanduyate mama mano nitaramanena tyaktvarthitam yavana shonita sarapanam. Sanduyate mama manaha. It pains me to think that my sword, which is meant for the blood of Mughals, will be used against my own countrymen. This is Aurangzeb's tactic, after all. He's putting us to fight one another. Shramyen mithah praharanak shatasimha vrindam gridhra lasantu vanaraja padam prapannaha. He wants the lions to fight and exhaust themselves to a point where the vultures can come and take over the forest. Let's not play into his tactics, and don't believe whatever he's promised you. It's all a lie. Just look at what happened to Jundhar Singh, who also helped him. Jundhar Simha Kruta Sarva Sahayatayaha Kimva Phalam Samabhavat Tvamavaishi Sarvam. You know what happened there. And look at the calamities that he brought upon Prince Chhatrasal, and all the other tragedies that he's wreaked upon other Hindus. This is well known. Anyeshu Hindushu tatha mahatim vipattim samprapitam kimuna vetti bhavan prasiddham. This is well known. And it's tragic that we find ourselves in this situation. He says, Ascharya meta dakhilam vipulam cha desham yan mushtimeya yavana bata shasatimam. This vast land with all its people is being ruled by a handful of foreigners. When the British came and were ruling India, the Russian author Leo Tolstoy wrote something very similar in his work, A Letter to a Hindu. And I quote, "What does it mean that 30,000 British men have subdued 200 million vigorous, clever, capable, and freedom-loving people? Do not the figures make it clear that not the English, but the Indians have enslaved themselves?" And this is exactly what Shivaji said back in the 17th century. Asmakameva dridashrinkalayasmadiyan badhnati hanta charanans chalabuddhireshah. Our own chains are tied to our feet, and our own swords are used to chop off our heads. Khadgaish chinatti nishitaish shatashosmadiyai rasmakameva chashiramsi durashayena. So let's stop playing into their hands, and let's start using their own tactics against them. He says to Jai Singh, if you gather the support of Jaswant Singh and Raj Rana of Mewar from the north, then I'll gather the support of the Golconda and Bijapur Sultans and come rushing from the south. He says, Dhara dharairivara sadbhirivasi dhara tirtheshu papa kalushan yavanan bhataugaihi samsnapayami rabhasadi salama dharma lakshmani dakshina dishikshapayami mankshu. Dhara dharairivara sadbhirivasi dhara. I will drench them with the shower of swords from the thundering clouds of my army, and together we will liberate this land. Sena vilola lahari nikarena dillim samplavayama ripujir yadudagraharmyam simhasane vyapagatehi vinashta shobham Aurangzeb iti nama vrthaiva bhuyat. Sena vilola lahari nikarena dillim samplavayama. With our armies, we will flood the capital of Delhi, take the throne, and make the name of Aurangzeb go in vain. The word Aurang in Persian means throne, and Zeb means splendor. So the word Aurangzeb literally means splendor of the throne. So Shivaji, in his verses, is playing on the name of Aurangzeb here. Aurangzeb iti nama vrthaiva bhuyat. Both the person and the literal meaning of his name shall go in vain when we sack Delhi and take over his throne. At the end of the letter, he says to Jai Singh, in spite of all of this, if you have still decided to attack me, then so be it. And he ends with this final verse, which shows his poetic flair. Sanchadaye nijamukham bhagavan dineshah sandhyapatanchalavashadavasho yadashvah khadgastada mama niravarano hi bhuyat swastyastu vidnyavarate rajaputavira. He says, tomorrow, when the sun conceals his face behind the evening lady's garment, meaning when the sun sets, khadgastada mama niravarano hi bhuyat. At that time, my sword shall be withdrawn from its sheath. Swastyastu vidnyavarate rajaputavira. Fare thee well, Rajput warrior. Shivaji was a capable diplomat, but no coward. If push came to shove, he was ready. And so, on Shivaji Jayanti, let's honor his legacy, and let's take inspiration from both his wisdom and his courage. Hope you all enjoyed, and stay tuned for more.